For a lot of us, it'll be worth the entire trip to Don Schumacher Racing. How many of you have been coming to the Nationals for 10 years? 20? 30? How about 40? How about 44? That would mean that you were here in 1970. The U.S. Nationals in 1970 featured 32 car fields in Top Fuel and Funny Car. 5 days of racing, and I mean it was hard work. They didn't have sessions, so the cars got here at 6 in the morning. The crews got here and they stayed all day, worked all night, and when it was all over, it came down to 2 final rounds. The year was 1970. 4 cars, 4 drivers, 2 in Funny Car, 2 in Top Fuel, still had to settle the score. Will, we're going to run some streamers. We'll do our best. All right, we need people. Keep coming this direction so that when we do the Cackle Fest, we need everybody 20 feet from the front wheels of the nearest car. We're going to do our best. We'll gather some of our staff, and not everybody will hear this announcement, but for your safety, we'd like everybody about 20 feet in front of the front wheels of the nearest car. So, where was I? 1970. 2 drivers left to determine the Funny Car Championship. They were Leroy Goldstein and Don Schumacher. Don Schumacher beat the Ram Chargers, and that was victory number 1 of 231 for Don Schumacher Racing. 2 drivers had a great view of that. They were sitting to start next to determine the Top Fuel Championships. One was Don Prudhomme. The other driver had just beaten Don Garlitz and would race Don Prudhomme for the championship. They raced. It was wheel to wheel, half a car length or less all the way down the track. And in the finish lights, the car in the right lane exploded, cut in half between the engine and the rear tires. Prudhomme pulled his parachutes, and all he saw was the front end of the car sliding all the way to the end of the track. He got out of the car, and he said, "Man, I think I'm going to quit. I saw that car come by me, and there was no back end." And he said, "How bad is he?" What he didn't know was that this roll cage and this man went over the guardrail with the parachutes out, and Jim McCall earned the name Superman that day. He was runner-up, but this is a recreation of that car. All right, we're going to maybe be interrupted here for just a minute. I want you to welcome some people who put this car back together. All right, I've got an information sheet here somewhere. Don Ross and his group from Texas. This is Don. They rebuilt this car. There was not enough left of the original car to rebuild it. This car has never been seen, and 44 years later, this is a recreation of the car that carried Jim McCall to the runner-up next to Don Prudhomme. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look. To Don Ross, Jim McCall. This is what Jim McCall's car looked like. This is an identical recreation, and please welcome the driver, Jim McCall. On that day, he earned the name Superman, but it wasn't just a one-day experience. He was the 1970 Drag News Top Fuel Driver of the Year. And he continued racing Top Fuel dragsters and funny cars. And Jim, is this what it looked like? This is exactly what it looked like. That's the seat.
That's kind of rude right there, isn't it?
We're going to introduce all the Cackle Fest cars right after this. And we'll be right back with Jim McCall.